Yes guys, welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Now before we begin, don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and don't forget to turn on our notification bell so you'll be notified every time I make a new video. So today I will basically be giving you my Premier League predictions for the upcoming season. So this is just how I think the Premier League table will look at the end of the 2021/22 season. But anyway guys, let's get on and I'll name my table. In bottom place for the coming season, I have got Norwich City. Now, last season they were promoted from the Championship as they finished first. The season before that, they were in the Premier League, and they seem like they're going to turn into a bit of a yo-yo team between the Premier League and the Championship. They're one of those teams for me who aren't good enough for the Premier League, but are too good for the Championship. But it will certainly be interesting how Norwich do in the coming season. Obviously, selling Emi Buendia wasn't great for them because now they've lost a big player. But then they need to use the money they got from him to go and invest around the squad and build up a good squad for the next season. I heard if Villa sell Jack Grealish, Villa would like Todd Cantwell as well. So if Norwich lose those two key players in the coming season, I think they'll struggle. But apart from that, I don't think they're a bad team, but it's going to be a tough test for them coming up. And for me, I don't think Teemu Pukki's goals will be enough to keep Norwich up. So I think Norwich are going to finish bottom in 20th place. Next up in 19th place, we have got Brentford. Last season's Ivan Toney's goals were absolutely incredible, and that's part of the reason they went up. But it wasn't just that, they have an all-round good squad. And the Premier League has definitely been waiting for Brentford now for a while, because Brentford have always been a team that's slowly growing, and it's good that they finally got in the Premier League. They could just turn into a bit of a flop or something, a bit like Norwich a couple of seasons ago, and just go straight back down bottom. But I think through the coming season, they'll have a lot of ups and downs. I think they'll beat a surprise team like Norwich did when they beat Man City. I think they'll just beat a surprise team or something, and they'll have the odd couple of really good games. But for me, I don't think they have a strong enough squad to finish any higher than 19th. But I'm certainly looking forward to watching Brentford in the Premier League. They're definitely a team to watch out for. Next up, in 18th place, Now, this is going to be looking very boring so far, as I basically picked all the three Championship promoted teams to go straight back down. But, like the other two, I feel Watford don't have enough to stay in this league. Ismail Assar, that's going to be a big player if they can keep him in the summer, because we saw what he did when he was in the Premier League. I'll go back to that Liverpool game when he was absolutely incredible. And like Brentford, they could definitely be a team to watch out for if they get the right results and whatever. If they can put together a bit of a run, that can always be good for them. But for all three of the promoted clubs, it's going to be a really tough test for them. And I don't think Watford will finish bottom or 19th, but I don't think they'll be able to stay up totally. I think with who I've got in 17th, I think it'll be a battle between them and Watford for who goes down. But I think the team which I'm about to talk about might just beat Watford to 17th. And that team who I've got to finish in 17th place is Burnley. Now, Sean Dyche always manages to keep Burnley. If I remember rightly, I think I heard that Burnley have the lowest wage budget in the league, which is incredible considering what a great job Sean Dyche. And I feel it will get a bit closer to relegation for them this season, but I think they'll still stay up. As I mentioned with Watford, I feel it could be a sort of battle to stay up in the final 2 weeks. But Burnley have signed Nathan Collins from Stoke, which I really like. I think that's definitely one for the future. And all I can say is good luck to Burnley for next season. Next up in 16th place, I have gone for Brighton and Hove Albion. Now, every season Brighton seem to look even more settled in the Premier League. And I think they can call themselves now what I'd say is a settled Premier League team who seem to do well every season. Losing Ben White in the summer to Arsenal obviously won't do them any favours. But then at the same time, they can use that money they got from Ben White to invest around the squad, which will be very useful for them. I think Brighton do need a striker in the summer, someone who can just get the ball in the back of the net, because Lewis Dunk was scoring a lot of goals next season. I think he was almost their top scorer, and he's a centre. But yet again, good luck to Brighton for the coming season. Next up in 15th place, we have got Now I'm definitely interested to see how Newcastle do next season. I heard the other day that there was a rumour that Steve Bruce has been offered a contract there. And for me, Steve Bruce isn't the right man to lead Newcastle to what they want. Well, they want to be pushing for Europe probably in the future. And for me, I don't think Steve Bruce is the right man for that job. St. Maximum keeps Newcastle up though every season with how good he is, as does Callum Wilson and about a couple of. I think it will be another season for Newcastle where they have a really bad run of games because like a big player gets injured or something. Then I think once that big player gets back, I think Newcastle will start to get a bit more settled. And I think Newcastle will still stay up and have a solid 15th place. But Newcastle are definitely one of those teams we need to look out for next season. Next up in 14th place, I have got Southampton. Now, Southampton are one of those teams who has a really good run of games and they look like they're going to get Europe. And then they suddenly hit a really bad patch of form and then they're absolutely terrible for a while. So, Southampton are a really unpredictable club. So, Southampton are hard to make a prediction for, but I've gone for 14th. So, it's sort of, lower mid-table. If Southampton can keep Danny Ings and James Ward-Prowse, that'll definitely help them in the coming season. But if they lose one of them or both of them, I think Southampton are going to be in a bit of trouble. But for now, I've got them in 14th and I'll stick with it. Let me know what you guys think of Southampton in the comments and where you think they'll finish next season. Next up in 13th place, I've gone for Crystal Palace. Now, with some of the signings Crystal Palace make, I think that'll definitely help them. And say what happened with Chelsea when Frank Lampard was manager, he couldn't control the team as well, as he was a bit more inexperienced at the Premier League level and whatever. So that is my only worry for Crystal Palace, but apart from that, I think they'll be solid next season. So I'm going to give them a half-decent 13th place finish next season. But they will certainly want higher with the signings they've made. Next up in 12th place, we have got Wolves. Now, last season, they obviously didn't have Raul Jimenez available, as he got a bad injury. So next season, they'll definitely benefit from having him back. But next season, it's a bit of a fresh start for Wolves as they've changed the manager and whatever. But they'll be looking to get even more summer signings in before the end of the window. And they'll be looking to build on from last season. I don't feel they'll be able to push for Europe next season, but don't rule it out. So I'm going to stick with a solid 12th place from Wolves. But I'm looking forward to seeing how they'll do next season. Next up, in 11th place, I've gone for Leeds United. Now, Leeds have got to deal with the second season curse, which basically happened to Sheffield United. They have a really good first season like Leeds did, and then the season after they completely drop off and do terrible and whatever. But I don't feel that'll happen with Leeds, as they've got a good squad, and I think they'll carry on building under Marcelo Bielsa being manager there. I've heard a couple of people mention Leeds for Europe next season. I don't think they'll be able to do that just yet, but wait a couple of seasons and who knows. But Leeds are an exciting club which is building every day. They got a good Patrick Bamford up front who was banging in the goals last season. But next season, I'm definitely looking forward to watching Leeds. And they may even prove me wrong and get a high finish in the 11th. But for me, I'm thinking Leeds United will get an 11th place finish. Next up in 10th place, we've got Everton. Now, if they do get 10th place this season, I don't think the fans will be too happy with it. But it is a bit of a fresh start for Everton, obviously appointing Rafa Benitez, which was a bit controversial for the fans, as he was, the former Liverpool manager and whatever. Obviously, Carlo Ancelotti leaving was a bit of a shock, and I don't think it necessarily helps Everton. I still think they have a good squad, and if Pickford plays like he did in the Euros, then Everton will be really good. But Everton are definitely a growing club. Next up in 9th place, I've gone for a bit of a different one, which you guys probably weren't expecting. I've gone for Aston Villa. Now, I have got a bit of reasoning behind this, because you're probably thinking, Jack Grealish is about to go to Manchester City, so how will Villa cope? But I feel next season, if Villa use Jack Grealish money in the right way, then they'll be able to spread it around the whole squad and be good in all areas sort of thing. They already have a great goalkeeper in Emi Martinez, and obviously Emi Buendia coming in as well. That was also really good for them. And then I've heard if Jack Grealish goes, Villa want Todd Cantwell. And I think if they get Todd Cantwell and Emi Buendia in, I think they'll link up very well with each other, as they did in their Norwich days. I just feel this is the season now for Villa to get a solid mid-table finish, and then they'll just carry on pushing, really. But at the same time, I don't really think it will help them if Jack Grealish does go, which we will talk about more later. In 8th place, I have gone for West Ham United. Now, if you're a West Ham fan, you're probably hoping Jesse Lingard will come in. And I think that would be a good move for him, but I don't know whether that's going to happen or not now. But next season, I'm looking forward to watching West Ham play with obviously having to handle Europe as well. But then they might be able to handle the pressure of playing in Europe, like Wolves did. And I only think they'll go on and get better with obviously Declan Rice, Thomas Souček, and some other attacking players and whatever. And obviously David Moyes as well. He does a good job as well. So West Ham are a really exciting club, and I'm looking forward to watching them playing next season. Next up, in 7th place, I have gone for Arsenal. Now, next season could either go really well for Arsenal or they could flop a bit next season. They made some decent summer signings, which I think will do them well next season. But I just heard Thomas Partey has had to have a scan on his ankle because I think against Chelsea it was. I think he did something to it from a tackle. So Arsenal fans will be hoping that's obviously alright, and then he'll be back to full fitness. And next season, I guess we'll wait and see what happens to Arsenal. But for me, I think they're going to get a 7th place finish. In 6th place, I've gone for Tottenham Hotspur. Now, on the day of recording, it has just come out that Harry Kane has not turned up for Tottenham training today. And apparently Tottenham are about to fine him, which I think is the right thing to do because he should be turning up for training. Now, this prediction is based that Harry Kane stays, but if he doesn't stay, I think they could change places with Arsenal, and Arsenal could come to 6th, and then Tottenham could go to 7th. Or maybe even lower, because I think Harry Kane is the one who basically gets them the goals. So, I think next season could be a bit of a struggle for Tottenham, whether they sell Harry Kane or not. I just don't have too much confidence right now in Tottenham. But if they keep Harry Kane, which I think is unlikely at this stage, I think they could do alright with Harry Kane, but I still don't think they'd be amazing. And then if Kane goes, you've lost one of, if not the best strikers in the world. So Tottenham could be in a bit of a mess, so I couldn't put them any higher than 6th or 7th. It's going to be interesting to see how Tottenham do next season. In 5th place, I've gone for Leicester City. Now next season, I'm looking forward to seeing how Daka and Vardy link up. I think that is going to be a really good partnership, and I'm looking forward to watching Leicester next season. They always go on and exceed expectations. Their aim for next season will probably be to get like Champions League football and stuff, which I think is achievable for them. Wesley Fofana was absolutely amazing last season, and if he carries on the form, then a partnership of him, Soyuncu and Johnny Evans, I think that's really good. And then you've got James Maddison to get the assists if he doesn't go to Arsenal. And Leicester seem to be growing every day, so if I was a Leicester fan right now, I'd be very confident. Next up in 4th place, I've gone for Manchester United. Now, Manchester United have already got Jadon Sancho and Varane subject to a medical. And if Manchester United sign a midfielder like Camavinga or Declan Rice, I think they'll look very solid going into next season. They wouldn't need one if Matic was a bit younger though, because I think Matic would be good if he was like 28 or something. But if they do sign a midfielder, they could easily be higher than this and, improve on where I put them. I just think with the top 3 teams, I think that will be too much for Manchester United to handle. But I still think they'll get Champions League football, and maybe even win a trophy like the Carabao Cup or FA Cup or something. But for me, it seems exciting times to come for Manchester United. In 3rd place, I've gone for Liverpool. Next season is going to be a bit better for them as they have Virgil van Dijk back. And him and Konate, I think, will form a good defensive partnership. And then up top, you got Salah to bang in the goals. And I think next season, Liverpool will hopefully not have as many injuries for them. And I think they'll be better than they were last season, but I still think they will finish in the same place. But yet again, I think the top two will have just too much for Liverpool. Right guys, now I know you're on the edge of your seat. Who do you think I put in first? Get your predictions on who I put first in the comments below. So, what is between Chelsea and Liverpool? I will reveal who's second place in 3, 2, 1. In second place, I have gone for Chelsea. Now, in my predictions, this does crown Manchester City as champions, but we will talk about them more later. Now, last season for players like Kai Havertz, it was all about gelling in and whatever, and getting used to playing football in England. And then towards the end of the season, we saw the best I think we saw of Kai Havertz. So I'm looking forward to watching him again next season. Mason Mount also looked magnificent. And I think Chelsea will just keep getting better, to be totally honest. And if Chelsea get Erling Haaland, I might change my mind. But I'm quite happy right now with a second place finish for them. But Thomas Tuchel is definitely building something, and exciting times to come for Chelsea. Let me know how you think Chelsea will do in the comments below. And in first place, I have gone for Manchester City, who will be crowned the champions in my predictions. Right now, with the amount of rotation options Pep Guardiola has, I don't think you can pick anyone else for first place. And it looks like Aston Villa are about to accept the bid for Jack Grealish, which would let him go for Man City for 100 million, which would be mad. And I think him and Kevin De Bruyne would link up very well. But that's not a done deal yet, so we can't talk about that too much. And then obviously we talked about Harry Kane not turning up to Tottenham training earlier because he wants to move to Man City. So that'd be interesting to see whether that happens or not. But as I was saying, right now I just can't see anyone else winning the league. I think Man City will be too good for everyone else. Pep Guardiola is one of my favourite managers, and he'll do a magnificent job again next season for me. But let me know in the comments below who you think will win the league, who will get second in Champions League and Europa League and Conference League spots, then who gets relegated and whatever, because that's really interesting. But anyway guys, that is the end of my Premier League predictions video. If you did go on and enjoyed today's video, don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and don't forget to turn on notification bells so you'll be notified every time I make a new video. I've got loads of videos planned and I'm looking forward to sharing them with you guys. But anyway guys, that is the end of the video. Thank you all for watching and I'll see you all in the next one.